Hi guys, what's going on, and welcome to Oriental Empires. So, for those of you who, if you've been around on my channel for an awfully long time, before I got into all the Total War Arena stuff, I actually played a bit of a series with this game. It was kind of like a sort of a turn-based strategy game, very similar to sort of Civilization in a way. And I played this quite a lot, but then since moved on to Arena and sort of forgot about it and carried on, etc, etc. And I got an email the other week from the developers just giving me a Steam key for the new DLC they've just released, which is the Genghis DLC, honestly unsurprisingly, focusing on the life of Genghis Khan. And I've been playing around with it a little bit and sort of getting back into the game, remembering quite how complicated this game actually is and doing rather badly. So I thought, yeah, I'll just have a bit of a look at it, come back, give a little play for 15 minutes, something like that, just to kind of show you what it's like, and yeah, go from there. Because traditionally it's kind of like a very sandbox game like Civ, you know, there's not, like, think of like Civilization if you've ever played those game series, then there's not really like a storyline or anything, it's just like a sandbox world where you're trying to conquer the world in various ways, and that's what Oriental Empires used to be like. But this Genghis DLC is much more like a story-driven quest, or can be if you choose to go down that mode, and it sort of follows the life of Genghis Khan. Or in this case, or Timur Shem, this is however you pronounce it, that is Genghis Khan, but with his different name. So in the first 10 turns it was kind of just his childhood story, and it kind of went on for 10 minutes or something, so I didn't want to show you all that. But we've just started on now and we've given free reign. We've got sort of our horde is here in this little city here. We sort of zoom in. I shall get some people building some farms there. Look in the actual city itself, what we're going to build. Let's build a wall, to be honest, given this is going to be quite sort of a conflicty zone, so that probably won't do any harm. It'll give us a little bit of extra protection to our city if we get raided by anything. And I'll start to move Genghis back over this way. How far can you get? Go to there. This is family, isn't it? Yes. Move over to the little place for garrison. We won't recruit anyone this turn. I think that's pretty much all I want to do this turn. Oh, have I set my technologies? No, I haven't. So there's 4 different technology types: power, craft, thought, and knowledge, which basically represent different aspects of sort of Chinese culture or Oriental culture at this time. So like you can have improved wall construction, allows you to construct a high earth wall, which is like an improvement above palisades. It's just like researching new technologies. Terracing, you know, enables you to do different types of farming, you know, crop rotation, different, you know, you can get the idea. Or you can have a crouching tiger type of sort of trebuchet by the looks of it, which sounds like a lot more fun. Definitely better to kill people than farm things. Obviously, starting, because this is obviously not right at the beginning of the game, because Genghis Khan's like 1200, something like that, then we're already into like the Imperial/Warring States era of Chinese history. That's why some of the technology is already researched. Improved armor seems like a good thing. Better than calligraphy. Yes, no, I think improved armor seems like a wise thing to be able to craft. And then you've got like some of the philosophical type things which affect authority and things like that. Increased culture look, increased authority. Loyal followers, yeah, let's have that. That's 2 authority. And then knowledge. What are our options? Gunpowder. That sounds like a worthwhile innovation. Let's go for that. Okay, so we've got our technologies added, so I think we should just better pop into the next turn. So it's strangely the way this game works, unlike Civ where you move a unit, then at when it just moves, it sets distance into turn. This basically does the same thing, but it animates all the movement. So if we zoom right in here, you can see this is obviously Timur Shem, Genghis, moving with his bodyguard, and you see them, they just sort of trot around the map. You can stick it into fast forward. You see they just move, so they make their moves through the hexes like they do in like a Civ game, but it's all animated, and that's the same for the battles as well. Your younger brother Khazar has come of age and is available to lead your armies. It's his nickname. Okay, so you kind of learn these are all real people. This is why this is kind of like this story-driven DLC. So there we go. So we've got another general down here. So maybe we should be looking to recruit a few extra people. You know, a few extra tribesmen and people. So we've got, because obviously we're not very researched developed at the moment, we can have like tribal horse archers, some light spearmen, some tribal light archers, and what are they, noble horse archers. So let's just have probably a couple of units of archers, I think, for the moment. And people recruit instantly in that sense. They're like, but you've got a limited supply pool. So you see where I click that, that's instantly recruited these people into the garrison, which is great. But I'm diminishing the supply pool of people I've got available. And as you upgrade more buildings and stuff, you can do more. You get more access to more people. And as you build foundries and iron working places and spear manufacturers and things, you can have better quality units available to you. So let's bring Genghis over down here to kind of join up with our two armies. I think he's going to have to go a bit across some rivers and stuff. You get the same sort of terrain penalties as you do on Civ as well. It's always funny, like the rivers act as like a one-turn move, exactly the same as Civ. Other than that, not a lot else to do this turn, so let's go stack with no, I know that because that's just him there. There we go. It's family as well. It's slowly moving towards the camp. And then we go next turn, Genghis will cross the river. I'll probably just move down here or something, then we can move up and advance over this way. I think we're going to get a story quest in a minute. Looks like we built our farm as well in our city, so that kind of reduces the rate of population loss because it gives me something for them to work on, for the people to actually work, i.e. they've got some land to grow something. But being like a horde, obviously, the Mongol hordes, they're not like big city people, then we don't really get to build many farms. So I'm just going to work probably at clearing some of the land and stuff, so as more things come available, we can make better use of it. So we've got our archers and we've got our tribal horse archers. We'll move our general back to the city, and then our other people, our families, slowly making their way back across as well. And again, that's pretty much all there is for to do this turn. You can see you can pass the turns pretty quickly, doing their animated thing. Okay, so this is part of the story quest now. Abduction. One day your camp is surprised by a party of raiders from the Makit tribe. You flee for your life, but your bride, Bort, is carried off into captivity. Makits pursue you, but you are able to hide out in the Holy Mountain. You pray for guidance. In defense, you decide you will rescue Bort. Strange name, Bort. You send words that your allies Tongula and Jamuka, and they send large forces to assist you. So then this is the quest basically. To rescue Bort, you must capture the Makit town of Ulanud by turn 23, or be known as a coward. And you can either like do these, in which case you get the benefits of doing it, or you can choose not to do them, and it doesn't fail or anything. It affects the rest of your campaign because it's influencing the story as it develops. So we can see over here we've got Ulan Ud, the town we're actually going to be trying to take. Actually got a fairly sizable garrison there, hasn't it? 2 tribal light archers, 2 tribal light spearmen, and they've got a walled town as well. They've got palisades and archer towers defending them. These are obviously our allies, I'm guessing. Yeah, they brought some people. So, okay, we're going to have quite an army to assemble. So let's go to our capital. Start to get some more people recruiting. So we had some of these. So should we go for the horse archers? I mean, that's kind of what the Mongols were all about. We can have some noble horse archers as well. Leaders tried, well equipped and trained for war. Seems like a kind of good thing to have. So let's move this whole garrison stack out to meet up with Genghis on the river. Looks like there is the place. So they should all meet in the same place. It will take these guys 2 turns, and then we can march on the enemy Ulan Ud capital and hopefully do them a little bit of some damage. Yeah, straight to the next turn then. We should now, you can see we should have a much larger stack. You can see our army somewhat bigger. Well, they've walked themselves up a slightly inconvenient cliff there, haven't they? Wow, they've got a firm footing. But yeah, you can kind of see how this works. You can see the much larger armies. You can see our like tribal horse archers here compared to our much heavier general's bodyguard. Like, these guys are really well armoured. These are just sort of the lightly armoured people with hats and bows. But still, I think they're going to be quite effective in the fight, hopefully. So let's ping this back onto fast forward. See my army gathered on the other side of the river. Genghis himself, I'll probably just wait here this turn to move the army across, and then there's one mass we can march on the enemy. We built our wall. Did we build our wall? Yeah, we did build our wall. Yeah, we built our wall. Anything else worthwhile building? I'm actually losing 10 per turn now. Because buildings can cost maintenance as well. For example, like this palace, you have to build a palace to unlock some of the other buildings which you need to build to get better units. But having a palace costs 40 upkeep per turn. So then I'll be making, say, a loss of minus 50%. You can soon see I would run out of money with that. So even though I want that, I don't think it's a good idea to build that at the time. And then you can get more money. You know, currently, obviously, we're very isolated, so we're not getting any trade or anything like that. So we're not really making much of an income. But you can then build buildings. So, like, you can build, say, a pottery workshop, and then you can export these ceramics to other cities if you're close enough. If you've got a trade route to them. But obviously, being kind of so isolated, we haven't got any trade routes to them. But then look, there's like a foundry, produces bronze for trade. There's an armourer, weaponsmith, stables, barracks, artillery camp. So you can see how all this works. I mean, artillery camp, look, it's 80 per turn. So having like a fully upgraded military camp is actually really expensive to maintain. So that's why you've got to have kind of a good economy as well. One of the hardest things I remember about this game, like when I played it back like 6 months ago or a year ago, is trying to get that economy to balance is really hard work. So yes, I'm happy with that. So let's move our army across the river. And now they should form into the one single cohesive unit, which they have done. So now we'll get ourselves marching off to Ulalalood. What's turn now? 15, that's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's on turn 21. Wow, I've only got to turn 23, so we really need this to succeed, don't we? If we actually want to capture this place, it's going to be quite challenging, possibly. Can I build anything that's useful here? The one I remember, the pottery doesn't actually cost any upkeep, so I'm tempted to build that. But then it's going to put my money pretty low. So maybe for now, I'd be better off just having them, keeping the money, keeping the treasury. But I will continue with some of the land clearance. So we'll set that off as another building project. And then I think that was it, wasn't it? So let's just plough straight into the next turn. We will get to a battle at some point, I hope. And hopefully we'll even win the battle, which will be even better. So it's not really a lot to do this turn, so straight into the next turn. Obviously, as you get more settlements and stuff as it builds up, the game gets much faster paced. It's again, I keep comparing it to Civ, I know, but it's like kind of one of the natural ways that it does really progress a lot like that, in the sense that Civ, you know, you start off as you build your city, there's not a lot you can do, like 5 turns where you can't do anything. It's the same sort of thing. So you always have at least one and usually more characters to control, one of which your faction leader Kim. The two have ratings which vary over the course of the game and will age and eventually die. Characters can use lead armies, quell and rest in cities, which used to be exploit various opportunities. Okay, good to know. Next turn. Forwards, my army. I think these guys are friendly. Yeah, they are. Good. I see these are a bit more of an organised, different sort of culture look. These have got peasant-like spearmen, so they've got more of a feudal society, whereas we have tribal. Yeah, so like tribal spearmen, things like that. So it's kind of a different societal organisations. Great, all the people are sick. just what I wanted before we hit battle. So let's keep these people on and progressing. Still losing our 10 per turn, but I'm not too worried about it. Hopefully, oh dear, we're losing quite a lot in terms of our sickness, aren't we? It's going to affect our combat ability, I think. Okay, we're now on the edge of their territory, and so this turn is probably going to be the battle turn. But their strength is starting to come back up slightly, I think, but it's still quite low. That's a shame. I think you get, yeah, you do get like formational orders how you should stand and stuff, but at this kind of stage I don't really understand the benefits of each, so I don't think there's going to be a lot for me to change. And you can do battle plans and everything. So this is like the level of control you have over fights against the enemy, because kind of like, I think a lot of people complain, or at least at the time when this game was first released, complained about how the battles, let me see the next turn I'm going, how the battles played out, how you didn't get to control the battles. It's not like a Total War game where you actually control the individual units and move them around. It's like a predefined battle. You get to pick the battle plan as you saw there, but other than that, the battles are just fought by the AI, and people like, a lot of people say, oh, why is that? Why can't we control the battles? But I think it's easier to bring my Civ analogy back in again. You don't control the battles on Civ. You you right-click to attack someone, and various mathematical calculations go on, and you lose 3 points and they lose 2 points. And this is basically the same, but they've just animated that mathematical calculation phase, so you don't get to pick the battle because this is what's going on, behind the scenes. It's just kind of a predefined thing, but it's just an animated version of it, and it's just kind of cool to watch. So hopefully some of our archers are going to start to bombard the city. But no, this turn didn't get to do it. I'm at war with these people. Yeah. Next turn we should actually get to assault the city. We do get to loot some of the land. Oh, we got 50 gold from burning their farms. That's always a positive. Okay, this turn then hopefully we shall be able to do it. So let's go straight on with this turn then. Okay, the Siege of Ulanulud. And yeah, so our allies have brought in to help because they're within range. So these are coming in to assist as well. Looks like our archers are opening fire, but they're receiving return fire from some of the enemy towers. We're trying to burn down some of these walls by the looks of it. None of the peasant archers. Very inaccurate by the looks of it. I love the hats. The arrows going out. There's something's caught fire over here. Looks like some of our archers are firing over here. I like the little strewn casualties because these enemy archer towers get to shoot the whole time. Makes them more effective as a defensive force. Hopefully we'll get to burn down some of these walls shortly. There we go. Okay, so the first set of walls is down. But we're still receiving fire from the enemy archer towers. I think our people will turn and focus on these enemy archer towers now, yeah, which they are doing. And then hopefully some of our infantry is going to try and sort of make its way through the breach. We've got quite a lot of archers here, but not that much in the way of infantry. May have been an error on my part. I think so. Is that our general? Yeah, our general's going in by the looks of it. These heavily armoured guys should really be able to do that. There are friendly archers shooting in. So fighting in through there. I think our people are also going to try and form a force of breach through this line here, which looks like they are doing. The enemy's got more people at the gateway as well. But I think when we look, they had what? 4 garrisoning units? 2 archers and 2 spearmen, yeah. Some of our allied cavalry is trying to force their way in. I think sometimes siege battles like this can take a couple of turns. Hopefully, ultimately, we should be able to force our way through. These guys are wavering now, they've got into the wavering state. Come on, break down move. What do you got? What time is it? They're down to 8 people. And we've got 19. We should be able to win. I think we're not going to be able to win this turn. It will be until next turn. Let's fast forward a little bit. Yes, it looks like our troops are sort of reorganising maybe. Or no, we're just having a go at a different angle. You can see the casualties that have been sustained in some of these. Oh, that's been doing quite well. And these guys as well. Many casualties. Not a good start. The army's reforming again, and then next turn we'll attack again. Let's have a look at the battle, how badly it went. So we lost, oh not so bad, 66 casualties we sustained, but they sustained 100. I think that's probably because our general's bodyguard were the main people getting involved in the fighting. I probably didn't recruit enough infantry units. I recruited a lot of archers, didn't I? Yeah, so like the strength and efficiency has dropped off a lot. They have Khazar. Timoshen's still pretty good, so that's okay. We've lost a unit of archers. Some of our tribal people are still not too bad. So hopefully next turn will be the turn we actually get to break them. Some of our allies took casualties as well. So let's have another go, basically, and push straight in, because we've not got that many turns to complete this, so we really need to try and break these guys. I think this kind of shows how sieges go on for prolonged periods, rather than it just being sort of like one turn and everyone's dead. That's why it takes a couple of turns for the sieges to go on. The advantage of all our archers is that we've basically burnt out all of their defensive towers. That's why they're having a bit of a hard time getting shots in. Some of our allied cavalry pushing in, our tribal horse archers. I think they should... No, they didn't get to break the spearmen again. Damn. What are these tribal light archers? Come on, our guys should be able to beat a few tribal women archers. We've got heavy armour and swords and all sorts. Come on, my little dudes. Get stuck in. What's that skirting around the outside? Some more archers. Like our guys to break through some of these. Trying. I think we're going to struggle here, you know. Settlement has fallen. Okay, good. What we wanted, I think. Obviously, if you get them so low, they actually just rout. That's why I think probably all of them had that white wavering icon, you know, like they do on Total War games. I think that's kind of what's happened there. They're going to be routed to surrender. Our forces shall occupy the city. And Ulan Ood is ours, and congratulations, you have rescued Bort and located the Makit's camp. Bort has gone 8 months and is now pregnant. Although the paternity is questionable, you accept the child as your own, and when he is born, name him Joshi. Yoki. Shoshi. Okay, so we've survived. And thankfully, Genghis Khan's actually still alive. So we didn't actually set that many casualties in that fight, and they lost the rest of them and the city. I think the city goes into like chaos for a few. Yeah, so occupy the settlement peacefully, and you get like turmoil for a couple of turns, so you can't actually do anything. I think. Yeah, the turmoil to do is an event, so you may not build or recruit here. Okay, well that's understandable. Obviously, initially we're not getting a lot here. You can see over here these are our two places where you can see sort of what we've got. And it also takes time for the walls to repair. You can see we burnt a lot of them out when we were attacking, knocked down all these arch towers and stuff. So it takes a bit of time for them to come back to health and actually be useful again. So we've got to wait for that as well. Okay, well I think that's pretty much all we can do for this turn because we're in turmoil here. So just take over to the next turn. Not a lot to do that turn. Jamuka again. So yeah, so back before we started this video, Jamuka was like your childhood friend. Has now become the leader of the Jadaran tribe. Happy to be reunited with him and grateful for his help in rescuing Wart. You join your camp with his. However, you are not a man who accepts a subordinate easily. Eventually grow tired of being treated as an underling. You separate your camp from Jamuka's. Many of your own people choose to come with you. This has led to bad blood and fighting with your sworn brother. Okay, so you can see how this kind of develops, because this is all basically as it happened in the life of Genghis Khan, so that's kind of what this story mode is teaching. So that's why now we have got war with Jaradan. So that's why there's more war breaking out. But looks like alliance is honoured, and Arkatit Karit, however, those people have actually joined us in the conflict. So these are these people here, I think. Yeah, so these are still friendly with us, but we're now at war with somebody else. God knows where that camp is. Is it here? Well, they're still the Makits, of course, who we're still at war with. They've got a second city. These are my allies, aren't they? Yeah, maybe it's down here or something that we are the people at war with. It kind of guides you through the campaign. It's a relatively... are these Jaradan Mongols here? Look, some of the now enemies. But I think our people are kind of fairly heavily diminished, so we'll leave them for a turn to recapture some of their strength. But I think I'll probably end the video there. I just wanted to kind of give a bit of an overview of what this game is like. I've actually not played that much of this DLC yet. I'm going to continue through this campaign a little bit more, kind of see how I get on. It does give you a fairly free reign. I know that's kind of one specific mission it was showing you, but like now, for example, you get forced into a war because that's what happened, but how you conduct that war is relatively sort of open and up to you. You know, you choose which buildings to build, which units to recruit, how to fight, etc, etc. It's a pretty open campaign, but it's nice that it incorporates that sort of historical story into it, and the decisions that you make affect how the campaign works. So yeah, it's a pretty cool DLC and quite enjoyable to play. So yeah, let me know what you think about this game in the comments down below. If you've been here for a very long time, maybe you can remember when I played it originally. And yes, it's obviously some of the slightly different content that we've got coming since the end of Arena. So yeah, hopefully this is still vaguely enjoyable to you. And yeah, subscribe to the channel, and I shall see you all on the next video.